Hello everyone, a pleasant good day to you and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, I want to extend a very warm welcome to you and remind you to like, share and subscribe to my channel. The last time we met, I spoke on the topic, the 5 stages of grief. Today, we want to talk about how do we cope with grief. Now, the very first thing that we need to remember is that we must acknowledge our pain. It could be emotional pain, it could be physical pain. We then need to understand that grief is unique to all of us, meaning that we all grieve differently. Initially, we may find a family member or a dear friend that we can confide in, that we can trust to talk about our problems and our pains. But if you realize that you are not, able to cope even after speaking to a family, friend, or a relative, then it's time to reach out to a healthcare professional. You can speak with a mental health nurse. You can speak with a psychologist. You can speak with a licensed therapist. You may also speak with a doctor who can guide you through this process. Now, in coping with grief, we must ensure that we do certain amount of self-care. We must ensure that we are getting adequate amount of sleep, meaning that we should have at least 6 to 8 hours of sleep per night so that our bodies and our minds can recuperate. We must also ensure that we are taking in the right proportion of nutrients that our bodies need to get over this insult. We must get our right amount of minerals, carbohydrates, proteins, and vitamins from our food. And if we are not able to get it from our food, then we can balance it with supplements. We must also ensure that we do not isolate ourselves in this time of grief and sadness. So we need to, keep ourselves within the confines of good company, persons who can encourage us, persons who can uplift us mentally, spiritually, physically, persons with whom we can share our situation. So do not make the mistake of staying alone, and the depression gets worse, the anxiety gets worse. We must ensure that we keep persons around us who are very supportive. We can also connect ourselves to a support group, and there are many such groups around. There are different kind of support groups as it relates to mentally. We can find persons who can uplift us in an emotional way, persons who have gone through the same stage that we are going through currently, and they are able to give us that kind of support that we need. We must also never forget that we can speak to our Creator. We can speak to that superior being who understands our feelings and who can also help to uplift us and to make us feel better. We must pray. We must read the Word of God and encourage ourselves. We must also seek to grow, as we study His Word, we will also develop copability, strategies that can lift us up out of, our depression, out of our fears, out of our anxieties, and, help us to feel better. And as we continue to walk and to find a place where we can get rid of this process of grief, we must never ever forget that we are not alone. Until next time, all the best.